Yes, we have our own personal helicopters up there. Capturing the image. 3 of them lent to us by Baldy benefactors. Unfurl the banner, so and the people put your banners down. Use your arms to pass the banner across, just like at a football match. After 3, 2, 1. Okay, start to pass it across. Just feed it to each other.
There it goes. We have a camera on the helicopter scene capturing this moment.
Go back to your communities, back to your towns, back to your villages, back to your cities. Tell the country, get ready.
Can you take this off me? I'm on air, mate. I'm on air. Sorry about that. We're Parliament Square. We are in Parliament Square, but I've got to point out this is pretend. So please don't come down for the demo. It's all too late. You've missed it all. We've had the demo now. We've unfolded the banner. Please go home. Do not come to Parliament Square.
Churchill gathered the cabinet around him during the war. He said that we need to raise more funds for tanks and planes and ammunition, and one of the ministers turned to him and said, well, we could raise more, we could cut the arts grant. And there was a pause, a moment's silence, and Churchill turned to him and he said, well, what's it all for then?
Well, I'll be honest with you, that was actually last week. That was the 1st of May, and we did a Parliament launch for a project that was made possible, quite possibly by you. Because if you've paid a lottery ticket, if you've ever put £1 in for a lottery, then you have helped make all this craziness possible. So thank you very much. A week ago, 1st of May, we did a Parliament launch event for a month-long UK art takeover. We got an Emergency Arts Council grant through. We were so grateful for that. We'd already got a little bit of funding from another organisation to match fund that. And with that, we built a TV studio in my spare bedroom. 5-10 minutes that it might just be, because we believe that art is the killer combination of creativity, tools. A lot of trouble because we said we were doing we got into trouble for parking that on the trouble because we said we were doing a Parliament launch event, and we had the Lord Mayor of Westminster come down. Believe it or not, we had 34 speakers all Skyped in committee room 14. But the Lord Mayor wasn't able to come unless we said it wasn't really in Parliament. So we said, okay, can we say it's in a virtual Parliament? And they said, well, no, because the government is in the virtual Parliament. Right, well, what can we call it? Well, you could call it a pretend Parliament, which is why we had to make this little sign up, which we had to hang up occasionally with sky hooks. So we have to pretend, because we don't want anybody thinking we're actually really in Parliament. Or up Big Ben come to that. So let's get that down. We don't really want that up there either. So we've been pretending. We've been using our imagination, because we're all born creative, and if we're not careful we let it get taught out of us, and that's what this is all about. Tapping into the power of creativity and art to inspire our kids in their learning, to create careers in the creative industries, and to fuel the economy. I mean, last year the creative industries were worth about 130 billion to the UK GDP. I mean, it's full on. I mean, it's gone to zero in the last month, which is why we were so grateful to the Arts Council funding, because they put some money in from Arts Lottery and DCMS and National Lottery funding to make projects like this possible. And a lot of people weren't able to move as quick as we were. We moved down quick. I tell you, as soon as we saw lock-in coming, we were in. And we say lock-in and not lock-down, because nobody's locking an artist down. We're fighting, we're activists, and we're here to celebrate art and what it can do for this country and why this country needs it. And in fact, you know what? It doesn't need us. Just look around on a Thursday night at everybody clapping and banging and playing improvised instruments. We are connecting. We're realising, once again, what it is that makes us so human, and that's what this project's all been about. We've called it a community lock-in, and it was made possible by this organisation, a charitable trust here called LGFL, and basically that's London Grid for Learning. They provide tech and creative tools and content for London schools, and Liverpool and Ludlow, where we were yesterday. So maybe L just stands for local, because local's the new global. We're not going back to big theatres in a hurry. We're not going back to big cinemas in a hurry. We're not going back to big festivals in a hurry. Camp Festival cancelled the other day. Notting Hill Carnival. We're not going back to these things in a hurry. We're going local. And do you know what? That bit of it is probably not such a bad thing. And please don't think I take this light-hearted. My mother is, I saw her yesterday on Skype in Ludlow, in my hometown. I was up there on a pop-up. She's got double pneumonia. My dad's got a bad back. He's just had a spinal operation. My brother's ill. This is real. This is affecting us all. But if you don't smile, if we don't connect with what it is that makes us human, where are we? What's it all for? As Churchill said, what is it all for? I'm going to show you a film at the very end of this about a very, very exciting project that we hope to be part of in 2022. But let's carry on quickly. Basically, this is all about the 3 greatest gifts that you can give a child. The first one is some of your time. There's no excuse now to give children your time. You've got time to sit with them, to play with them, to make with them, to read with them. But as somebody said to me in Cornwall last week, as his dad said to him when he was young, learn to be able to be and not just do all the time. Learn to be and take comfort from being with each other. And that's what the time thing's all about. The second greatest gift you can give a child are books and stories, and tell them stories and read with them and invent stories. And the love of reading is one of the greatest gifts any child can have. And the third thing for us that you can give a child is their art. We passionately believe that we have to help our kids not aim this high, but higher than high. We have to help them dream, aim high, find their passion. We call it their art. I don't know if you saw this film with Elton John that he made with Adam and Eve, the advertising agency, and John Lewis. We show that film to children all over the country and ask them a very simple question. What do you think that film was about? Was it about a piano? Was it about a boy, his mum, Christmas, happiness, dancing, music? It was about all these things. But for me, it's about his art. We love asking the kids what they think art is. Well, we say for us, whatever, art is wonderful, art is creative, art is imaginative. You've got to hear these kids come out with these things. But for us, art is what we call it when what we do connects us to somebody else. So, like Grayson Perry, your art could be throwing cakes at people, and pottery, and dressing up in lovely dresses. Your art could be painting, like this man here. Your art could be photography. Your art could be dancing. Your art could be design, like Morag Maiskov here, who did fantastic billboard in Leeds and around the country to celebrate creativity, to celebrate community, to celebrate a gratitude for the care workers in the NHS and in our schools, and policemen and bin men and all these public sector workers. Your art could be DJing. And I'm going to come back to DJing, don't you worry. And your art could be fashion. Think of Victoria Beckham. Think of your art of being football, like her husband David Beckham. If kids are passionate about football, let's encourage that, let's nurture that, let's develop that passion, but all the time. Telling them that they should have a plan B just in case, like my granddad who broke his ankle after his trial for Norwich City. Have a plan B in case you don't make the first team. Maybe you could be a manager, maybe you could do some physio, maybe you could get into the marketing, you could do all sorts of things within the football business. So let's develop these passions, let's get our kids passionate about something, and let's call it their art. Your art could be cooking. Think of the fun and the passion that's around at the moment for things like the Big Bake Off and for Jamie Oliver and these people and their love of ingredients. We were in Cornwall the other day, we saw Dave Sargent. He's a local chef, and every day at 4 o'clock he's live streaming on FaceTime his favourite recipes, and he's cooking them for people, and people are logging in and he's having a banter. They are connecting with his art. Your art could be coding, like this guy. He's developing computer games. So if you love FIFA, the football game, think about it. Why is it popular? Well, it's popular because when you kick a ball, it goes like it would in real life. It doesn't go like a jelly and splodge on the floor. It doesn't drift off like a balloon. It goes as if it's real. And coding is a great skill. Do you think that guy played computer games all the time? Do you think he played them and then made his own and learnt with his friends and started companies and doing things? That's why this is so cool. The art of robots. We've got a robot kicking around down here somewhere. This is JD the robot. We're going to teach kids in our community lock-in how to code robots like this. In fact, we've got one of these to give away as a prize, a £500 robot we've been given because people are loving what we do. Your art could be rockets, making paper rockets, firing dynamite rockets. We fired a dynamite rocket from this window and it landed in a backyard in Leeds the other week. You can't make this stuff up, but anything is possible when you use your imagination. Your art could be rockets like the Stephenson's rocket. This is a day we did in Sunderland with Dominic Wilcox, an Arts Council funded project where somebody made a cardboard model of Stephenson's rocket. For another project, I think we found it virtually in a skip because they'd finished using it, but it inspired the kids to make models from cardboard in Sunderland, in Newcastle, an area of the world where George Stephenson was born. George Stephenson worked in a coal mine at the age of 5. He sat in a dark tunnel for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, waiting for a bell to ring so he could open a door for a truck and shut it again for the teenage boys to push the trucks through. That was his life for 5 years underground. And then one day he got a job above ground shoveling coal into the steam engines. And the boss said, "Hey boy, you look like you're doing okay, here's a little bit of extra money." And he spent that money learning to read. He learned to read because he could read, he could use the manual. The boss let him be in charge of the steam engines. And that boy went on to invent the world's first and fastest passenger carrying steam train. The world's first steam train was developed by a bloke called Richard Trevithick from Redruth down in Cornwall. And he went to Ironbridge to get the Shropshire lads to build his boiler, because only the Shropshire lads could build a boiler strong enough for Richard Trevithick. You see how all this connects, the art of engineering, the art of making, the art of inspiration, the art of all these things. Stephenson's rocket, I do like a train, I must admit. Elton John, I'm a born-again Elton John fan, and you can see all about that on our website. But this is just so special for us, the community lock-in, and we have been all over the country, and we're so grateful to the Arts Council, but particularly the National Lottery, but particularly you if you've ever bought a lottery ticket, because it's those pounds, those £10, those £20, those special lotto cards that are coming in to fund not just projects like this, but the National Theatre. We also One Man and Three Governors. Everybody loved that. That's funded by the National Lottery. Get your head around that. It's brilliant. So thank you so much. What's going on here? Not much, because the video's on another hard disk, not to worry. That's me going off to the Isle of Man, actually. Not the Isle of Man, the Isle of Wight. On the boat to the Isle of Wight, because we did an Isle of Wight art takeover about 2 months, and that gave us the idea for doing a UK art takeover. And our first stop the other day was, well, not the first stop, one of our stops was on the Isle of Wight, where we caught up with this man and his family, Rob de Bank. Rob de Bank runs Camp Bestival and Bestival, and it was his festival, it was his Camp Bestival. And this is our stand at Camp Bestival from 2 years ago. We thought, how can we take the vibe of Camp Bestival and how can we bring it into our school? How can we bring the creativity? How can we bring artists into our school and run creativity festivals? And we did it for 6-7 years in my son's school in Paddington, St Saviour's. And then I gave my career up to roll it out across the country. And I've been travelling all over the country, helping school communities run mini creativity festivals, half-day sessions, full-day sessions. But like everybody else, when the coronavirus kicked in, everything got cancelled. This is the day in Isle of Wight. Well, we've just launched a rocket here. But what do you think the children got from that? What did you get from that? What did you think of it?
Well, I think the children were fascinated with all the things that they possibly could do in the future, their jobs that they could have, also just the use of technology. A lot of them very interested in the coding. They really enjoyed all of it. What was your highlight? The highlight for me was the children all singing together, because I like to hear the children singing. It's funny you say that, because that's lovely and that's obvious, and you bit my hand off and I said, would you mind singing that? What the world's needs now is a takeover of the Isle of Wight. Let's see how it goes. We've got events all week, but thank you so much. What do you think of the rocket launch at the end? And you think any of the parents might be reading those books with their children? You say that, because that's lovely and that's obvious, and you bit them around and we'll let you know what it is. Who say yes when I ring them up, so thank you very much.
I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
A little bit of video, although it's not video at the moment because I didn't plug my hard drive in. But this little bit of video I used to pretend that I was going from Stranraer Get Creative at Home pop-up tour, which is part of the UK Art Takeover. So we did Parliament and then we did a 10-day tour. The first day, a little film of Titanic leaving port, and absolutely wonderful. Obviously the Arts Council fund English projects and we had some little bit of funding for this, but you know what, I didn't go on Skype. We showed how we're going to take little boats and blue screen them onto the Titanic video. So these are boats that artists made on one of our days elsewhere, and we just showed how simply using the tools and boats and sent photos in on blue and green screen backgrounds, and we composed them and showed them how to do that. Unbelievable to be in Belfast for that. And I'll be honest with you, I had no idea there was a Titanic museum in Belfast. I'm ashamed to admit it because it's not a thing to missed it, but it really was fantastic. And I don't know if you have seen the Titanic Museum, but it really is something to be seen. There it is up there. Quite a fantastic spot. A lady came on who we're making this up as we go along, right? So not one of these days was planned more than a day in advance. So we'd phone up people and email the day before and then get them on the show the next day. And at this time I was doing it all of my own because we hadn't got the Arts Council grant through. So really hard work. It's all about the museum and Titanic and what it meant to the city culturally. She got a local artist in who designed her book covers. Turns out she was at university while I was at art college across the road, and I used to DJ Croft Estate up there in Leeds, who we've met before, who's a bit of a Titanic nut. So he could not believe his luck being able to speak to this lady in Belfast, and she told him some bad news. Had 4 funnels and there's no way they could build one with only 3. So they had luxury, not speed, so it didn't need the 4th funnel, and nobody had put a 4th steam engine on a steamboat if they didn't need to. And also it was lovely to connect with Marcus, who is somebody I met on one of the most fantastic weekends I think of my life, actually, and that was a weekend down at the National Lottery funded arts 40 million. I don't know what the 40. I can't remember what the 40 stands for. And they lit the National Lottery, the Eden Project up, and we had the most fantastic weekend there on an art activist, a community activist course. And I connected with one of the people I'd met that weekend. He Skyped in when we were in Northern Ireland. So it just shows all these connections we can make. Strategy of community art coming back into this, and we've been working with and talking to Bill Harp at the Blackie in Liverpool about doing a day with him, really celebrating what it got. And we want to work with people like Bill and Wendy Harp at the Blackie up there to help them leverage this technology, because they've got an amazing backstory. They've got amazing, well, in fact, here's a little video of the Eden Project weekends, and these are the people that in projects, and see if you can get yourself on that weekend, because it really is just something else. And we ended up in the Millennium Centre, who only runs the Kids Field at Glastonbury Festival. So he runs the biggest free kids art festival in UK, Europe, the world, I don't know, it's massive, 1,000 artists. And he connected us with an amazing artist who did the sculpture field. But guess what she does as well? She's a creative director at the Boomtown Festival, which has just been cancelled. So it's just lovely. But then we met this wonderful, wonderful textile designer, and she showed us how to do some lamb artwork. And then the kids went to Avalon Day, where Tony Cordy came back on and introduced us to this guy. Fantastic musician, Rodney here, who played his guitar for us. And in fact, in Cornwall the night before, we'd had a party, a sunset, sundown DJ and beach party, all virtual, nobody went anywhere. And Richard Ash, who's a local head, playing on that. But because he put a blue screen behind him, we could chroma key him and colour and mix him as if he was literally on the beach at the beach house. We had mirror balls and it was just wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Pushing that one back. But we've got some amazing people we want to work with there, and we really want to tap into whoever the collaborators were behind the Morag Myers Cough billboards that you can see here, which are just fantastic. Yesterday was very special for me because we went to my hometown. My home, the Animated Day, was on the Millennium Green, and that's a piece of grass. It's a community space now, which I'm very proud to say my father led the fundraising for, as well as the Community Arts Centre in the town as a local district town councillor. So it was lovely to connect with them. My parents are very ill, so who was a councillor who's actually given up on the council doing anything because things just seem to sit on the town clerk's desk, she said. I'm not saying anything. And she wants to see Dwinky, who we know, who's a brilliant graffiti artist. So if you're looking at this and thinking, my goodness, we've given this guy some of our lottery funding, our Arts Council funding, well, let's judge it on the legacy. If that subway arch and an evening and a private view and those kids are involved and engaged, I don't know, I don't think it's bad use of a few quid. I hope you'd agree. But that's just one project. This, an amazing guy the other day, Action Jackson, who is the UK's self-declared UK's ambassador for happiness, advice to people in Lochin, and he said, just dance, everyday dance. And I'm not doing that. I haven't got room to swing a cat at the moment, I must admit. But we have got Count Skylarkin, who is one of the most incredible, eclectic, diverse, inclusive DJs in his disco shed. So he DJs from a shed. A creative activity morning for kids. So 10 o'clock it's the Rocket Kids Club, which I've even mentioned. That's an online Facebook but secure, where it's all about creativity and expressing yourself and your art and sharing. So the kids can be inspired, they can create, and they can share stuff with their peers. So it's like an out of school art club in the of all those mashed up, but with technology delivering now, and we're looking for 100 kids to trial that. And we've been sending these boxes out to people. These are our art time boxes, which have been going out to families in some states around the country with robot kits, colouring kits. I love this. Check out the soundtrack to this video that he gave us. This is one of his remixes. One of it's Missy Elliott, but see if you can guess the Northern Soul classic that comes in very, very quickly. This is all filmed down in Cornwall. And we've lost our audio because I turned it off.
If you love it, holla at me one time. Holla at me if you want the wickedest wine. I know it's been a while, but baby, never mind. Can't make them wriggle and scream. They get a call from sexy Maxine. She leave a message from the inside machine. She said, "Is that your chick?"
People you know, me and Timberland been hot since 20 years ago. Got the feeling, son. Let me throw you some. People, here I come. Let's swap me when I'm done. We got the radio shook like we got
Your love lifted me higher. Keep it up. My desire. And I'll be at your side.
Legend here. Only Margaret from the caravan up there at Northport. Margaret, what were you doing? You've got your brass or your gold. What are you up to?
I'm the president of the carnival. I'm very proud. It's a brilliant day, and now I'm at the Brendan with this lovely, lovely van.
Yeah.
And
I've come all the way from Liverpool for a knees up with us next week. Do you fancy that, or have you got a tea shop to run?
I think I got 2 shots to run. I will else.
Go get yourself a sherry, Margaret. Lovely.
Take care. Bye now.
Wow, utter legend there, Margaret. Margaret's tea shop. Absolutely fantastic. So that's the vibe as expect from our festival. I had a really lovely evening. I went with my son, my 15-year-old son at the time, and just hands in the air, dancing under the stars. It was wonderful. So we're going to do it tomorrow. If you want to pull a few moves on the dance floor, we've got smoke machines, we've got mirror balls, Skylarkins down in Oxford. I'm going to be in Paddington. We were supposed to be in Leeds today, but as I say, we had a couple of hiccups this week. Somebody pulled a rug from under our feet, and we just lost the friends up there. Some really cool people, and there's a lot going on in Leeds that needs to be going on everywhere. So people like Anne Louise, the artist, Emma Behrman, the fantastic work she's doing with Playbox Leeds. You've got all the guys together. We don't pretend that we're bringing people together. There's a lot going on there already. I'd love to see Kerper singing. Just really need to rinse that. So we're going to do that in the next 2 weeks. And of course, working with our dear friends at Parklands Primary on the Seacroft estate. They're really great people, just wonderful. So that's the vibe there. So back on the boat now. Do you know, where is that? I think we need to see this in all its glory, because this is a lovely little video. I'm going to have to, do you want to see what's going on here? Do you want to see I'm coming clean now? Right, if I press that, suddenly that's it. This is where we're at. This is what we've got here. Let me show you the reality. Let me show you a cardboard box and a green screen. So this is it, and this is the kit, and that's my messy desk over there, because everything that was over here last week had to get chucked over there in a hurry. But let me tell you the trade secrets, so that people like Emma and everybody across the country can do all this stuff themselves, because it's killing me. So if you Skype into us, you will be on, let me just press these buttons here and let me just do that. I'm going to show you some, so this is, you have to do all this on the fly. So press that, and then there like that. And now when I press that button, I'm in the corner, so you can see me, so that's cool. So that's, in fact I can move that over there. Look. So this is, when you Skype in, you'll come in on this computer. We've got 2 computers for Skyping in. Got these laptops off off Gumtree. A bloke just turned up and dropped them outside the house. That's our and then we've got a laptop here, which is the PowerPoint. So all PowerPoint's going on that one. But this is the amazing box of tricks. This is what every arts organisation in the country needs to be buying if they want to do the crazy stuff we're doing here today. So basically, move that up there. You see, I can do all these things. I'm doing all this, you see, using just twiddling these knobs. And I had to read the manual. It's about the first thing I've ever bought I had to read the manual for, because it's quite hard. So 8 channels, the camera 1 at the back. There we go. So that's camera 1 at the back. So when I press that, you'll see that's that one. 2 cameras in here. Number 3 is the laptop. That's the PowerPoint with the C on it. So that's that one. Number 4 is literally actually just a picture of Glastonbury. So if I want to pretend I'm at Glastonbury and then press that, suddenly I'm at Glastonbury. If I get rid of that little window, suddenly you might believe me. I mean, I pretended I was on Big Breakfast, on BBC Breakfast on April 1st for April Fools. Is it really 6 weeks I've been doing this? I can't believe it. So press that, so go back to there. So this is a Vision Mixer, and then those other 3 are the laptops, but that basically does everything that Vision Mixer does. So this is all the kit that we bought with our grant. So this mixer has got the same buttons there. You might think, well, what's useful about that? But then if you click there, you've actually got a full sound mixer. Keep talking like this, bring it up again, and it comes back up like that. So it's like I just never seen anything like this. It's just amazing. And then over there, we can have presets. So if I'm reluctant to do that. If I press one of these buttons, it changes all the settings. So I can have 8 different settings and then just flick between them, which is why they're big. Put myself in the mix. So I press that button there. Okay, let me go back to that and that. So when I want to make myself, I come back, press it to go, press it to come back. Watch this, watch this. Because I've got foot pedals. For 20 quid, you can get foot pedals. So I can press that and I can fade from one fade to another. So look, no hands. I'll turn that one off. You can turn me off. It's a bit, you have to look down to make sure you're pressing the right pedal. So it's not rocket science. Leave the rocket science to me. Let's leave the creativity. Let's leave the content. If you're a theatre, if you're an art theatre or gallery or performance space, you've got talent, you could build this, because I think this is going to go whoom. I mean, we've hardly had anybody in our performance, well, say we've had 200, 300, 400 people coming to some of our things and seeing them afterwards. But, you know, we haven't had the time and the budget to get that promotion because there's a lot of distractions. But if you could do this to do that, so if you need any help, then maybe we could do a program all about that. I think I've probably just done it actually, haven't I? What am I doing now? Let's go back to that. That's it. I'm back on the boat. Okay, where was I? I was on the boat. I was going to go and get my hard drive. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play you a video. I'm actually going to go and get you the Notting Hill video because I heard that Notting Hill Carnival was cancelled. Well, we have agreed a collaboration, because this is hashtag Collaborate 20 year, with one of the most culturally rich places, parts of London, with the West Indian community. You've got the communities literally just rocked up at Notting Hill Carnival and did a pop-up with our friends at Portobello Community Radio, and this is what happened.
We love everybody out there on the streets. We love to keep it warm, keep it good, and keep it Portobello Radio.
It's a bit shorter than I thought, that one. So basically, that's Gaz Mayall's Trojan Rockin' Blues stage at Notting Hill Carnival. It's on All Saints, it dominates All Saints, right opposite the Tabernacle, so it's on the front line. Really, Gaz has asked us to run his stage for him virtually from our community lock-in. So that is going to be massive. Gaz goes to Japan 2-3 times a year, celebrating, partying, communicating, running events. He's a DJ at a club in Soho every week or before lock-in. Going to be amazing. So we're going to be using Arts Council lottery funding to deliver, make this up. We didn't put that in the proposal to the Arts Council. They didn't ask for an awful lot. And it's probably a good job. So we might have some video now. Well, haven't we got any video? Still haven't got any video. Okay, maybe it's on the wrong disc. I don't know. That's a bit of a shame. I went over to get that hard drive as well. Must have got the wrong one. It's worth it. I want to get that working. I'm going to get that working. I don't know if there's anybody still watching. It's rambling on, but there's one person watching. It might be me, actually. Maybe that's just registering me. I'm going to show you what we're doing with the Rocket Kids Club and how a rocket landed in a Leeds backyard. It is off the first. Gosh, I can't believe how many videos we've done. That's too long. You don't want that version. There's a few. Come on. This is a bit annoying because I don't want you to have to watch the whole thing. Right, people just dropping off. People dropping off like flies. Of the whole thing. We've got Mr. Dyson here. This is for everybody in Leeds. If there's anybody in Leeds watching, this is for Dyson, you. If you were here now and we'd sort of got our act together, I'd had a big sign up that said hashtag art of leadership, art of community, art of empathy, art of love. The whole thing. We've got Mr. Together, I'd had a big sign up that said survival kit. Everything you need in there. Anyway, you don't need much of this because you'll find stuff, but you've got some instructions. You've got some instructions for making rockets. You've got a T-shirt. Anything you need to make a rocket. So, and then if you lift that out underneath, Mr. Dyson and Macaulay there from Parklands, you've got a Rubik's Cube. I don't know if you know how to do Rubik's Cubes, but you've got one of those. And we are going to teach you not only to do a Rubik's Cube. We've got a little computer here, which is called a BBC Microbit. That is a BBC Microbit. I'll do that in a minute, actually. I'm going to hopefully show you how to do that in a few minutes. And in here, we've got a little orange box, and that's an Edison robot, which is one of these. Or you've got some coloured crayons there.
Wow.
And you've got a little robot here that you can code using programming languages or simple things, or you can even just get it shot, but we're going to give some more of these away as prizes. And I'm going to teach you how to do the coding. What do you think of that?
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the fins here.
There, talking about your rockets, Leanne and the boys have made a rocket, and I didn't ask them to. Look at that. Look at that. They blew the nose off. Homer Hickam, hello.
Hello, how are you?
You can hear us, can't you? This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming here.
It surely has to be looked at as one of the most...
On the other line, we've got the most amazing man, one of the most inspiring people you could ever wish to meet, in miner in the town that he lived in, because that was the only job that there was. And he saw a little dot in the sky one day, which actually, if you look in the sky at the moment, you might be lucky to see. He saw these dots, and it was a satellite. It was the world's first satellite, and it inspired him to go and learn to make rockets. And he, for NASA, and they're the people who make the rockets and went to the moon.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence
7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Can you see it? Whoa.
I know.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hello, can you hear me still?
I can hear you, yeah, it's all good.
Lovely. Well, I can't see the live stream.
What are you on? That was random. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? I don't know. And do I look like I care? Do I look like I care? Really doesn't matter. Let's get back to... I've got to get... down in the Isle of Wight, where we did a pop-up the other day, and this is setting up for that. Obviously it's not, it was filmed about 2 months ago, but we pretended we set up for it again. I just sneezed. I hope that's not a virus symptom. I don't think it is. So this is a lovely art centre. We were delighted that they were happy for us to collaborate. They retweeted a few bits and pieces, and we did a little talk. We did our I Love Art stuff and had a fantastic time there. We're announcing next weekend we've got the Hay Kids Book Fest, and so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And take those down now. I don't think we need that, so we'll just catch that, Dave. Yep. Sorry, mate. I want to talk to you about books just really quickly. I mean, this book thing in the next few minutes, so stay with me. He's feathering his nest. Auntie Doreen is getting cross and making mint. The head teacher is getting in a flap. Ma'am, and looking after Dad and thinking how beautiful the birds are. What's behind it all? It's the great human bird comic about a dad who's a bit crazy, acts a bit crazy, to inspire his kids, to inspire. So what's it all about? Well, we've got a book thing going on. I mean, I've got my favourite t-shirt on here. This was inspired by this book, the Seth Godin book. The Icarus Deception. There's a lovely little piece in this. The Icarus Deception. It's about Icarus, as you know, the Greek myth, the boy who was told not to fly too close to the sun, go too close to the water because he might get wet and drown. He was given rules and to fly within those. We've got to help our kids fly high. We've got to help them aim high. We've got to help them find their passion. We call it their art. And in this book, isn't painting. Art isn't something you hang on the wall. Art is what you do when we're truly alive. If you've already decided that you're not an artist, it's worth considering why you made that decision and what it might take to unmake it. Art might bust you, but art is who we are and what we do, and art is what we need. Creativity and boldness to challenge the status quo, and an artist takes it all very personally. Art isn't a result, it's a journey. The challenge of our time is to find a journey worthy of your heart. And today I'm launching the Pass of Kids book thing. So one of the books that's really inspired me is this book, and if you know anything about miners, saw the Sputnik satellite and learnt to make rockets and ended up working for NASA. And Homer Hickam, the author of this, will be the patron of our Rocket Kids Club, which is an incredible honour. One of the things we want to do with our Hay Book Festival, Hay Kids Book Fest, is to inspire people to share their love of reading, to share their favourite books. And I'm working with Rich Simpson, who's a fantastic primary teacher down there on the Isle of Wight, who I met when we did the UK Isle of, when we did an Isle of in his school. So what I propose today is that we start a hashtag Pass a Kids book. And I'm going to chuck this book down to Rich Simpson, down there in the Isle of Wight somewhere, I think over that way somewhere. I'm going to chuck, or is it over there? Maybe over there. I'm going to chuck this book over to Rich Simpson and hope you can catch it. Catch this, Rich. Oh, there we go.
Well, thanks for the recommendation, Nick. I'm looking for
book. Picking up a book that you're going to pass on and pass it off the screen, and let's do one of those keepy uppy but with books to celebrate children's reading, to celebrate children's literature. And the people I'd love to see involved in this would be David Waring up there in Cheshire. I'd love to see Simon Kidwell involved. Simon Smith over in Whitley Bay, who's fantastic with his picture book work, and I'd love to see a 60-second film by any of those people with those books. Dave Shakeshaft, Chris Tolson, Chris Dyson, Rachel Snape, all these people I've given a copy of this book to. I'd love to know what you think, and share, spread the love. I'm trying to think of that lovely head teacher at Woodlands Primary in Chester, actually I gave a copy to on her birthday, so I want to see you give us one of these. So pass the book, that's what that's all about there. So there you go, that's the kind of craziness we're talking about. 29th, 30th, 31st, we're doing the Art of Community Festival. It's a 3-day event. We haven't started planning it yet, but it's going to be amazing. We've got a few people lined up. The inflatables just arrived on site. We've got some scaffolding out. We're going to try and rebuild I don't know, like an Egyptian pyramid above. Like, I don't know what the idea is that's going on there. The video screen's down there. They've been setting that up, checking that out. Cows don't know quite what to make of it. But this is all, as I say, this is all about art. Art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. So what we want to do, we want to see people going to our website. We want to see them going to our I Love Art page and downloading this page, this sheet. Got a website on our shop. We will print t-shirts for you for a tenner. If you haven't got any money, then tell us, show us if you're on Universal Credit or free school meals, and we'll do you one for a couple of quid if you can manage that. But we want people wearing these t-shirts. So here's one. I've got a different one every day of the week. I've even got one inspired by Damien Hirst painting behind Matt Hancock. So you do that, and then send them in as selfies. And there's Susan Coles from Newcastle and some of our other friends, people in Hull, some Hull volunteers, and then you could print them as posters like this. Look at this family. This is a family from Notting Hill down at the Tabernacle, and they've done that. Now you can, if you do one of these yourselves, you can send these off, and for midday, £18, including postage. They'll send it back to you the next day. Unbelievable. And we want to see those posted up on people's bedroom walls and living room walls. We want to celebrate art, celebrate creativity. And let's create, and let's just get busy. And we've had thousands of those done as part of a campaign. This is a big sort of mock-up we did, but we've been fly posting all across the country. So all a campaign that was inspired by this guy.
Ago, I was in the street writing my name to say I exist. Then I went to taking photos of people to paste them on street to say they exist. From the suburbs of Paris to the wall of Israel and Palestine, the rooftop of Kenya to the favelas of Rio. Paper and glue, as easy as that. I asked a question last year, can art change the world? Well, let me tell you, in terms of changing the world, there have been a lot of competition this year, because the art spring is still spreading. The Eurozone has collapsed. What else? The Occupy movement, find a voice. And I still have to speak English constantly, so there have been a lot of change. So when I had my TED Wish last year, I said, look, I'm going to switch my concept. You are going to take the photos, you're going to send them to me, I'm going to print them and send them back to you. Then you're going to paste them where it makes sense for you to place your own statement. This is inside out. 100,000 posters have been printed this year. Those are the kind of posters, let me show you. And we keep sending more every day. This is the size. Just a regular piece of paper with a little bit of ink on it. This one was from Haiti. When I announced my wish last year, hundreds of people stood up and said they wanted to help us. But I say it has to be under the condition I have always worked. No credit, no logos, no sponsoring. A week later, a handful of people were there, ready to rock and empower the people on the ground who wanted to change the world.
There you go, looks like Alex, lovely background there. Lots of children, parents, teachers from all over there from Cheshire, from a school that puts art at the heart of what they do, so be a part of that. So, Art Connect. This is a film I showed today. I was on BBC Devon today showing how we connect with local, in fact let's show that now, how we connect with local communities. Devon Post, all school assembly to inspire these young people to be creative, to help them dream, to help them aim high.
The Steamco assembly this morning was brilliant because of the robot, showing the imagination. He talked a lot about imagination, George Stephenson with his rocket and the ideas. It is a totally 3D experience in our view, and it is absolutely brilliant.
Mr. Home, what do you reckon to that then? What do you think everybody thought of that?
Oh, it's been an excellent day so far for all the children. They've been really engaged in the talk and looking at the rocket being launched.
What was special today was that the whole day was sponsored and funded by he mucked in, helped us out make some rockets here, and said I want to get you into my grandchildren's school. So what made you want to support something like this?
Well, like you say, it is inspiration.
To help their kids?
Yes, it would be a good thing for other kids in schools, I should imagine.
We were delighted when a local builders merchants gave us some plastic pipe for the kids to make rockets with. Oh, you got your high vis on as well. We've got Matt high vis. Check this out. He needs it with all these. Look at these little wagons they got buzzing around here.
you need to get kids moving and get them to learn.
So thanks for this. You're going to sort us out with some lengths of pipe there by the look of it. You're happy to let us have those, are you?
Pipe,
fantastic. Well, I'm going to crack on. Got to get to Seaton School, so I'll see you later. Thanks a lot, Sean. It's been a parents to inspire these children with creativity. What do you reckon about then, Mum?
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Because it takes a whole village to inspire a child, and at STEAMCO we're all about helping connect our kids with their art and our communities with their schools. And we call for all small businesses, medium-sized businesses, large organisations, creative people in organisations. Let's collaborate for creativity. That's the message that we're putting out there. That's the message that we put out, and I'm just wrapping up now. I want to try. I can't believe I've been talking for an hour. Gosh, we're aiming high. We're ambitious. You know, we've got nothing else to do. I gave my career up for this. Spent all my savings. So I was grateful for some Arts Council support last year and again this year. Last year we met and spoke to Jeremy Wright, the then Culture Minister, who talked about a Festival of Creativity in 2022. So last year we did a hashtag ArtConnects19 festival with a UK vision, a very bold intention to see companies and individuals collaborate. But a lot of people say to us, it might not work, you're wasting your time. And we have one thing to say to them.
It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play, here it is industrialized, right? Art works because we connect.
So the festival that we will be that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
Debate like this is absolutely overdue. Being from a working class family is what we've never had.
I think this is amazing, and we should encourage Nick to do.
Well, a lot of schools have taken music out of their curriculum, and I find that really important.
This book is going to change lives. There are 7 stories.
Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion. Please keep doing what you're doing. Inspiring the kids. I absolutely love it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your passion.
Boys will be boys. Better let them have their toys. Girls will be girls. Cute ponytails and curls. Must put them in.
I'm going to make it happen for you, Nick.
I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to make it happen for you because what you're doing is, in the end, absolutely brilliant.
I had the idea of getting a big screen to never do it.
One time for the Lord.
Art and creativity is absolutely everything, you know, to secure the jobs for the future.
Niall, what does Niall Rogers there, inspiring the hashtag Collaborate 20 year and talking about how everything in his life is a collaborating with communities, with businesses all across the country. And I'm hoping to actually, if I look, I can hear him, he's bashing around. Just 1 second.
Hello?
Hang on a second, I've got to press the right button here. I'm having a bit of a mental breakdown.
I'm okay. Thanks to the pandemic, I've finally gone out in the world and bought myself a clipper. So and I knew immediately something was going on and that it was you.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't. We should be thanking the Arts Council. We should be thanking National Lottery players for their funding, their support. And
I noticed. I noticed you were thanking earlier.
And I rushed around to the post office, and then I thought, you know what? I'll just do a pop-up show. And here
I understand you, because I must say I am entirely grateful for this help that they've given STEAMCO and indirectly so many other people, myself included. So I'm very, very grateful, at least for people like me.
That's good to hear, man. Good to hear. Thank you. Just tell everyone, do you want to look at the camera down here? Because you're actually on the camera's down here. That's in the potted version of that story.
I'm a portrait artist, so I spend a lot of time looking at people's faces and right now figures, and most precisely heads of state, and even more precisely questionable heads of state, so dictators and strongmen, the likes of working on Yasser Arafat, who has been on pause since our UK art takeover adventures. So I'm hoping next week to be able to get back to him. I'm also in the middle of painting Hugo Chavez of Venezuela, and so yet, but we'll see about that. Rewinding a bit, how did I end up working with Nick so closely? Very, very, very easy. I was carrying a Cassart bag, and this gentleman, very tall, comes hovering over me. Are you an artist? I'm like, well, how did you know? And he sort of looks at my bag. I'm like, oh, yes, dead giveaway. And since then, we just never looked back. Wife with his whole family, and it's just been great. We've gone. He's allowed me. Actually, he's opened up the UK to me in the sense that we've worked. We've gone to festival. He's taken me around Berkshire. I've been to Liverpool with him. We've done festival. We've gone to schools, and it's just been a really. I lived in Canada for many years, so as a Canadian to discover the UK. So yes, so that's how Nick and I met.
Brilliant, thank you, man. So you're heads up on that. We're in Oxford. So Count Skylarking's going to be DJing tomorrow night. He's had loads of blue screen material and mirror balls and stuff sent to him, so that's going to be a thing. He's given me a whole list of names of contacts of people to get involved for the Art Connect show in the afternoon. So we'll do that 3 till 5.
Wonderful.
And he's given me
if you can.
In the morning, the Rocket Kids Club. He's connected me with a really interesting artist actually, who, funny enough, is on the TV quite regularly. Lives in his road. So if we can pull that off, that would be amazing. I think tomorrow's going to absolutely, not just for the funding, but for retweets and sharing us, because sharing is caring. Paul Garvey down there in Devon, Jamie Grocott in Suffolk, Chris Dyson, Graham Andre in the Isle of Wight, creating and sharing that helps us get word out. You know, it's not a big deal to click a button, but it means a lot to us because it's free publicity if you believe in what we're doing.
I think it's also great what we're doing in the sense that it is a very community-oriented thing, in the sense that if you've done and you get excited about it and want to be a part of it, it's very easy. You simply get to it.
Absolutely. We want everybody to be a part of it, and there's lots of little plays with the P and the A and the R and the T, because there's an artist.
Well, thank you very much.
Buzz short. I'm just going to wrap up now and I'll come back to you in a moment. Thank you.
Brilliant.
So there you have it. There you have a very, very proud moment, a very happy moment, a collaborative moment, a community moment, a moment of celebration of the art of a community in a school in Bradford, fairly socially challenged school in Allerton, former coal mining area. And that whole community came out to support an idea that we had based on the posters that you've seen here, the posters of this family here from Notting Hill and the community there. Like this poster here of a man who has been incredibly generous to us. Charlie Phillips, you may not recognise him, but you'd know his photography. He was the photographer almost to the Windrush generation. He came from the Caribbean in the 60s, 50s, 60s with his family. He got a camera and he's taken photos of just about everybody. Muhammad Ali the lot when they came to Notting Hill. He did the first photos of Notting Hill Carnival, he did the first photos of Glastonbury. Yet he has never been acknowledged with an honour. He's never been to Parliament until he came to one of our events, and delighted to celebrate people like this in the community. And that's work at the Arts Council. Thank you for ticking the box that says you'll help me and the Steamco team. I'm just a dad. I do what I can. It might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And we have shipwrecks, and some days we have days like this.
This nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men